Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, class. Today we're going to discuss formal letters in letter writing. I know we've been talking about informal letters and we are familiar with writing letters and familiar with writing informal letters. But today, inshallah, we're going to do formal letters. And what is a formal letter? A formal letter is an official letter. It's not like the letter you write to your sister, your brother. This letter is like you're addressing, like you're communicating with someone in an official position. And you know the way you comport yourself when you're talking to someone when you're talking to your principal is different from the way you talk to your brothers at home, the way you talk to your father. So when I say write a formal letter, you're writing letters to your principal, school principal, you're writing letters to the local government officials, to a commissioner, you're writing letters to a newspaper editor, and people in in official places. Those are the people you write a formal letter to. So now, how do you write a formal letter? A formal letter has a different format. It has a different style from an informal letter. So I said a formal letter is an official letter that we write to people in official positions. So I give you examples of commissioners, newspaper editors, school principals, we have local government officials, and most of the time when we write formal letter, we write it, the subject matter centers around requests, complaints, around requests. We have complaints. I can see my handwriting. We have advice. These are the reasons we write formal letters. Suggestions or expression of personal views. So when you're writing a formal letter, you're not just writing it to greet. That's the problem with formal letter. You're not writing formal letter to greet a commissioner or greet the principal because they are in official position. They are not there for you to just greet them. They are there to request for something, to complain about something, to give advice on what to give advice on what is most suitable for you, maybe in a particular local government. You're writing to your local government's chairman, advising on certain things that you feel is most suitable for you. Maybe they are providing electricity for you, and you all at that local government are too, you don't need electricity. We all need electricity, but maybe you don't need electricity. You all have generators, and what you need most is water. So you're writing to, advise that at this point in time when there's scarcity of water, what we need now is water and not electricity. So when you're suggesting, when you have suggestion that I suggest you do this for us instead of this, I suggest you provide this so that, you have a street that do not have street lights and all that. And you know that you go out in the night, people come out, you need the what's it called? The streets to be bright and lightened whenever you go out in the night. So you suggest to your local government chairman or anyone in the position to put that thing in place, you suggest that we want you to please do so and so for us. Then expressing personal views. Most of the time you do this to newspaper editors. You write to them to express your personal views about certain things you read or something, and you want to express your own view. Okay, this is my view about this thing. That's why we write. We don't write to greet. That is why I told you that the format of writing a formal letter is quite different from an informal letter. So now I want to talk about formats of writing a formal letter. We have what we call, the first thing we do is the writer's address. The writer's address, that is you, yourself, writing the letter. You have to write your address first. That's the first thing. And the writer's address must not indicate your name, must not include your name. We don't need your name in your address. It must be at the right hand corner of your paper. So when you're writing a letter, if this is your paper, you must have your address on this side. Do you understand? You must have your letter, your own letter on this side that do not include your name. I don't need you to put your name Jato in the address. No. Just write your address. For example, you write P.O. Box. Can we use this? One of this. Okay. Let me use this. So for example, this is your book. Now let's do the formats of writing a formal letter. So your address is what comes first. And I told you that your address should be on this side of your paper. So you have something like P.O. Box 428, comma, you have offer. You have Kwara State, full stop. But if you are writing to someone that is not in your country, if you're writing outside the country, you're writing to a particular company, you're writing to an establishment, you're writing to the manager of a particular company that is outside Nigeria, you put Nigeria. And then a full stop. And remember, when you're writing, remember I told you that in your informal letter, I told you your letter, your address must be on a straight line. I do not want you to write the slants. Even if you are going to use the slant method, I don't think you can use that for a formal letter. You have to use a very straight line. You can use a ruler when you're writing to make sure you're writing and you don't write in such a way that we can't read what you're writing legibly. And again, for your letter, for your address, your own address, do not write in capital letters. I don't want you to write your address, you write everything full in capital letters, you write offer. You write Nigeria, no. So make sure you write it this way. And remember to use your punctuation. Punctuations are very essential in your letters. We mark punctuations. So you have to be very careful with your punctuations. And remember that Nigeria is not necessary if you are writing to someone in the same country with you. So we move to, this is the writer's address. So move to the second thing when you're writing a formal letter. The second thing you do is dates. And this date is written immediately, you write it here. Date. You write it here. Just after your address. Do not leave a space for me before your date. Your date is part of your address. I understand that it is a difference. We have the writer's address first, and then we have the date. That does not mean you should leave a space. It's unnecessary. Just put your date here. And remember that when you're writing a formal letter, it's a formal letter. You're addressing someone in official position. You're not talking to your brother. You can't write dates like 22/2/2020. No. It is not accepted in writing a formal letter. You have to be formal. Remember when we are talking to you, you can't be talking to your principal and be, dancing while talking to your principal. You have to be formal. There's a way you comport yourself. So we do that in letters too. You have to be careful and know the kind of words you use and how you use them. In writing dates, you write things like, let's use 22nd June. Remember, this is in capital letter. You write comma, remember, and then 2020 with a full stop. Take note of this. 22nd, the comma does not come after this date, it comes after the month. So you write 22nd June, comma, 2020 with a full stop. Do not write dates like You don't write 2001, 20, no. You write date like this. This is what's accepted in the formal letter. So we move to the address of the addressee, the person you are writing to, the person receiving your letter. You write the person's address at this side, just after your address and date. You move to this side of your paper and you write the addressee's address. That's what we'll call it. So yeah, you have the address of the address. It's going to be on this part of your paper. So, for example, you're writing to, let's say, the manager of one water corporation. Let's use the manager, comma, Kwara State Water Corporation, comma, Ilorin, Kwara State. So if you're from Ofan, you're writing to the manager of Kwara State Water Corporation, Ilorin, Kwara State. You write your address this way. Most of the time, you put the office address of the person you are writing to. Because I told you it's an official letter, I'm not writing to their houses. So you don't put, only if you know the house of the commissioner of education or you know the house of your principal, you don't write number 12 Asadam, my principal, because you know his house. No, you write to the office of the person you're addressing. So now we're writing to the office of the manager. That is the person you are writing to. That's why we put it here. The manager, the person you are addressing, the person that's going to receive your letter. So now, after this, the address of the addressee, we move to what we call the salutation. In salutation, in informal letter, I told you that your salutation can come in different forms like dear brother, dear sister Ada, dear Fatima, dear Amina. But in formal letter, you are restricted to use only dear sir. I repeat, only dear sir. That's a salutation. So it comes just after, let's say maybe a space, and then it comes after the address of the addressee. So we have dear sir. After your dear sir, you have a comma. You have a comma. In dear sir, sometimes I understand that the person you're writing to might be a female. The person might be a female, it might be, okay, you know the person in the office is a female. Only when you know the person is a female is when you use dear madam. Dear madam. I didn't say dear ma, I said dear madam. And then you put a comma. That's more official. But generally, when you do not know who is in the office, you're just writing to the person, use dear sir. That's the generally accepted one. And I have always told you that when you have external exams, and when you even write exams for me, you use dear sir. Because you don't know who you're writing to. Whoever you're writing to, just do dear sir. Whether it's a female or a male, this is what is accepted in the English language for format of writing a formal letter. Do you understand? So yes, when you put your dear sir and a comma, the next thing you do is the title. The next thing you do is the title of your letter. So we have the title of your letter. That's the next thing. We have 4 for salutation. We have 5 title of your letter. So yeah, the title of your letter is written on the line below your salutation. Just after the salutation, you write the title of your letter. And most of the time, it is set out in the middle of the page. You can't start the title of the letter and write something like this for me. Um, irregular, irregular supply of electricity. Or let's say water, because we're writing to operation. Irregular supply of water at, let's use Asada. Okay, I understand that this is having a full page, but when you're writing, make sure it centers in the middle of your page. You don't start from one side of your page and then you write and it stops here, and then you begin the letter this way. No, you write this way, and most of the time when you write like this, you underline. But when all this is in capital letter, for example, regular supply of water at Asadam. When you write like this, you don't underline. When you write in small letters, you underline. But when you write like this, you do not underline. And for example, writing your title of your letter, you have to understand what the title of the letter means. You can't just write the title of the letter and we don't get from your title. The thing is, these people we are writing to, they are busy people. They are people in official position. You can't write and then you don't get the from the title of the letter. I should be able to understand that okay, this is what the person is writing about. So don't write water in at Asadam. What happened to water? Is there water? Is there no water? What exactly is the point? Your title can put someone off. When I read the title of your letter, I can decide not to, read it again because I do not even understand what your title is. Okay, water at Asadam. So what is water for? What do I want to use water for? I just drop the letter. But you have to make your title catchy and understanding so that when I read irregular supply of water at Asadam, I know that okay, there is no water at Asadam. This person is writing to complain that there is no water at Asadam. You don't just write water at Asadam, all right? Supply of water at Asadam. Okay, why are we supplying water? The person you're writing to do not know why you want it, or you write something like you should supply water at Asadam. Who are you talking to? It's a formal letter. You don't write you should supply or get us water at Asadam. There are funny things you write in your letters, but you don't write things like that to people in official positions. Yes, we will move to now. And I've told you that if you have your small letter, you underline. If you have capital letter, you leave it that way in block letters. Then we'll move to the body of the letter. The most important part of your letter, that is the body of your letter. The body of the letter, when we look at the body of the letter, the conventional assessments we use, the yardstick of assessment we use in public examination and that I use to mark your work is what we call the content, the expression, and organization. You see these three things, content, expression, organization, these three things are very key. And that's the yardstick for assessment. When I mark your letter, you remember I always write something like, and then I put mechanical accuracy. We're not talking about that now. We're not talking about mechanical accuracy now. So these things have allocated marks. And then I will assess you based on, okay, in content, what were you able to write? In organization, did you organize your work? In expression, did you use good expression? Did you use good tenses? Were you able to express yourself well and clear? I have told you that I do not want unnecessary big grammar. I don't want you to use words that you yourself do not understand. So just use words that you understand, simple words. Just communicate and pass the message. That's the most important thing. Once you are able to pass the message, okay, yes, we get it. This is what you're talking about. This is what you're. It's fine. So for content, let's start with content. Under body of letter, I'm going to pick content, expression. Now let's do content, organization, Then we have expression. For your content, what we look at is what contains your letter. For content, for you to get good mark in content, you have to understand the demand of your question. When I say write a letter to so 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 person, what is my question demanding from me? That's the first thing you have to look at. That's the first thing you have to check. Okay, they said write a letter to. You have to understand, read the question as much as you want to read it. Understand it. Know that okay, the question is asking me to request for. I should not ask you to write a letter to request for something, and then you are writing the letter to thank the commissioner or to appreciate him or to congratulate him on certain posts or something that he has done. So as students who want to write and pass well in your public examinations, make sure you understand the demand of your question. That is what we look at in the content. And then the way you handle it, the subject matter. You have to have sufficient logical materials that will carry, conviction. At the end of the day, when I say, okay, we're writing to the manager of Kwara State Water Corporation to, supply water at Asa Dam for us. At the end of the day, when I read this letter, I should, as the manager, when he reads this letter, he should be convinced that yes, you do not have water. You need water for so, 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 and so. And he understands that, okay, water is scarce at Asa Dam, and he needs to get you water, provide water. You don't write things like, we don't have water in Asa Dam. We have no bath in my house since all these days. It's very illogical. Okay, so is that why we should supply water at Asa Dam? Okay, yeah, it's a reason, but you have to be logical. You have to write convincingly. At the end of the time, at the end of the day, when I read your letter, I should, okay, yes, they need water. Make a point. Don't just write out of logic and not make any point. You should convince the person you are writing to, okay, that yes, they need water, and then you should get it. Now, let's move to organization. When I say organization, in terms of organization, there are certain features. We started with the address, your writer's address, the dates, the address of the addressee, salutation, title of your letter is part of it. But another thing we look at organization in the body of the letter is the way you organize your writing. You can't just write like, you can't write things like, I want to thank you. No, we expect that you get us water, or we appreciate if what our request is considered in your first paragraph. You know that's not even logical. You have not stated why you're writing the letter. You have not said, but you are bringing up what's supposed to come at the last paragraph. You are bringing it up in the first paragraph. That is when we know that you are not organized. You are not organizing your points. You are not organizing what you want to say. So what you do in this case is have a rough sheet and you just jot some things down. Okay, yes, I want to talk about water. I want to talk about, the first thing, I want to state the reason of writing this letter. I want to talk about where there are no water. I want to talk about what the water supply we need to do to our community. You have to arrange, and then you come with the last thing that, okay, you appreciate if your request is considered. You don't start with what is supposed to come last. So you have to have a jotting. You have to have a rough sheet where you jot down things that, okay, yes, this is what I want to talk about. Then expression. I've said something about expression earlier. Expression is when you are able to communicate, when you are able to, say something and then I understand what you're saying. And expression also means that, it's a formal letter. So for expression, the things we look at is how you are able to state what you want, how you did it, and the way the person reading will perceive it. So yeah, these three things, you have to take care of them. So you can't write a letter to the commissioner and you write things like, okay, because the commissioner, and I have told you it's a formal letter, you are scared, to say the things you need in the community, and then you come with it. You start this undue humility, and then you start to, overflow the matter, and you're trying to sweep it under the carpet. You are not stating what you need. And again, Do not make the mistake of saying that you have just been in office since all these days. You have not created, you have not brought water to Asadam. I don't even know what you are doing in your office. Maybe you are just sitting there and you're reading papers. You know, you don't say things like that to people in official. If you are in front of the president or you are in front of a governor or a commissioner, you can't say things like that. So don't think you can use your pen to fight and now begin to write letters that will provoke the person that will read it. These things are what we look at in expression. How you are able to express yourself clearly and politely enough, not overdo humility. Do not say that, okay, because the commissioner, I have to be careful. Can't say what's, just state your point clearly and politely. Do not overdo it and do not provoke the person reading your letter. Don't say things like, please provide water for us now. Happy, what are you doing since all this? Things like that is wrong. So yes, ending the formal letter. As the last part, ending the formal letter, you end with we have a conventional, appropriate style of closing greetings for all formal letters. And that is yours faithfully. That is the complimentary close. And that is what you have to use. I don't want to hear can I use your sincerely? Can I use your lovely? No. I have told you that it's a formal letter, it has to be official, and you have to, talk to the person as if you're seeing the person. You can't say things like, okay, bye-bye, when you're talking to the governor. So you have to use things like yours faithfully. And then we have your Y in capital letter. Then you have your F, yours faithfully. You have your F in small letter. Do not make the mistake of, okay, because Y is in capital letter, you're going to have F too in capital letter. No, it's wrong. You have your Y in capital letter, and then your F faithfully in small letter. Do not make mistakes in your spelling. And then you put a comma after your faithfully. There's no comma in between yours and faithfully. When you do this, the next thing you do is your signature. Your signature comes before your name. Note that your signature comes before your name. Signature before name. So you have something like my signature. This is my signature. Then you have your name, Sekina Jatu. That's it. And that's the end. That's just the way you write a formal letter. It's very simple. Things you have to take note of in a formal letter is your body of the letter. You have to be sure that you are giving us good content, you are convincingly stating your point. You have to be organized. Okay, this is what I want to say first, this is what I want to say second, this is what I want to say at the last paragraph. You have to be organized. And then your expression, do not insult the person you're writing to, and do not use someone deal with, good morning, sir. How are you doing today, sir? It's unnecessary. In no part of this did I say that you should ask the person you're writing to, good morning, how is your family? How are you doing today? It's not necessary, you don't need it. So what you need to do is to state well what you want and not provoke the person or insult the person. So I hope, I want to give you an assignment. You write and submit to me. So you're going to write a letter